I know this isn't gonna be a video you wanna watch, but I ask you to watch it anyway. There's not much you can do about this situation from half a world away, but if you decide to visit or live in the Philippines, it's something you will be confronted with. Perhaps the most shocking thing of all is that I'm actually gonna get nasty comments from my own countrymen who will be outraged and offended that I'm calling attention to it in the first place. You know, that saving face thing again? But for too long, people in my country have largely turned a blind eye toward the plight of animals in the Philippines. And if I have anything to say about it, that stops today. So please, watch this, if you can. Half the time I get comments like, "Oh, P, you just tell the viewers what they want to hear about how great things are in the Philippines." And the other half say, "Why do you only say bad stuff about your own country?" Well, both these things can't be true. So the obvious conclusion is that I'm just telling it like it is, the good and the bad. I always tell both sides of the story. And if I were trying to learn about a foreign country, that's the kind of info I'd appreciate. The truth. Well, today, it's gonna be nothing but the cold, hard truth. A dog and a human share 84% of the same DNA, and they have the estimated IQ of a 2-year-old. They feel pain, they feel joy, and they know fear. They play like humans do. They live with us and protect us, just as we're supposed to protect them. But all too often, this is not the case in the Philippines. Dogs are called man's best friend, but with friends like some of us, who needs enemies? There are over 12 million strays roaming the streets here, but even the animals with owners are often at risk from neglect and abuse. We've all seen it. Animals kept on 2-foot chains, forcing them to stand in one spot the entire day. Animals chained in the sun without access to clean water. And worst of all, animals with skin conditions and life-threatening illnesses just left to fend for themselves and pick at their wounds until they die. Spaying or neutering pets so they won't continue breeding out of control is a joke here, and not nearly enough people do it. It's far easier to just stuff kittens in a bag and throw them in the river or on the road. And who cares? They're just objects, like a rock or a coconut, right? Maybe that explains why some people here enjoy cockfighting, where roosters are trained to rip each other to pieces with poison blades attached to their legs, all for the entertainment and enjoyment of the spectators. But who could enjoy something so brutal? And let's not even talk about the drivers who purposely hit animals just for fun, and then go on about their day. What kind of person could do something like that? Some of you might remember my cat Floki. I found him abandoned on the hot asphalt of a street in Cebu. He was so weak, he couldn't even raise his little head. And when I approached him, I thought he was dead. He had fleas, ticks, and so many worms inside him that he'd just given up. Can you imagine how scared and exhausted and desperate he was? Could you pass him by? Of course not. And neither could I. And yet, things like this happen in plain sight every day. Everyone sees it, and people just walk on by. Here's Floki today, big and strong, my best friend and constant companion. Did his life have meaning? Was he worth saving? I think you know the answer. Now, of course, it's impossible to save every animal. But come on, my fellow Pinoy. We can do better than this. For those of you that claim there's nothing that can be done, almost every city here in the Philippines has a public vet where you can take your pets to have them spayed or neutered for around $20. This is the first line of defense against animals breeding at will. So pet owners have no excuse for not doing it. But not only are the city vets doing their part, we also have our local animal shelters to care for abused and forgotten animals in distress. The one here in Dumaguete is underfunded and overwhelmed. So let's go take him some much needed supplies and see what they can tell us about the situation here. The road to the shelter is a little bumpy, and the volume of the supplies made it impossible to use a regular trike. So I rented a small truck called a multicab, the same kind of vehicle that's sometimes used for public transportation here. Unfortunately, this is only a drop in the bucket compared to what they actually need. Okay, well, the last time I was here 2 years ago, it was a little bumpy, but it looks like the road is now cemented. It's paved, which is good. Oh, I spoke too soon. There's a bumpy road ahead. Hang on, guys, it's gonna be bumpy, bumpy, bumpy. Whoa. Whoop, I told ya, it's bumpy. Whoa. Whoa. Ouch. Whoa. Sorry. Sorry, Luz. I feel bad for the car. I know it's just a car, but I still feel bad. I know it's kind of weird. We are here, we are here, we are here.
And safe and sound.
Safe and sound. Alrighty, so let's go say hi. Alright guys, so we're here at Dumaguete Animal Sanctuary and I'm here with Miss Rina. Miss Rina has been here for how many years now, Miss Rina?
Turning 3 years.
Turning 3 years, yes. So for those of you guys that don't know, I visited the sanctuary 2 years ago and Miss Rina was here as well. And so Miss Rina, tell us about Dumaguete Animal Sanctuary.
Dumaguete Animal Sanctuary is a non-profit organization not funded by the government. We run purely from donations and in donations in cash and in kind.
Okay.
So we also have staff, but we are mostly run by volunteers. Our board are all volunteers, so they're not paid.
Okay, so how many staff at the moment?
At the moment we are 17.
17. So for those of you guys that have a lot of time, why don't you come over and volunteer here in Dumaguete Animal Sanctuary? They would really appreciate extra pair of hands
Yes.
to help. So, Miss Rina, how many animals do you guys have currently?
I am sure we are more than 140
140
dogs and cats. As you know, we are over capacity. Our capacity used to be 100.
100.
And we are over 140 already. So
do you
yes.
guys euthanize animals who are unclaimed?
Unclaimed, no, never.
Never.
We will only euthanize if a dog or a cat won't be able to live fully, like won't have the quality of life after treatment.
Right.
So if a dog would just suffer or a dog or a cat would just be in pain, we would rather euthanize.
Right. I think that's the most humane thing
Yes.
that you can do
Yes.
for them. Miss Rina, we're both Filipinos. Have you seen instances that animals are purposely hit by a car?
Purposely hit by a car, I will have to say yes. It's really hard because they don't stop, so you can't really talk to them.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, you can really see that there is foul play.
Right. I've seen horrific scenes before. It's really happening here. There are
is,
people,
sadly.
heartless people that would purposely hit the dog. So, Miss Rina, aside from being animals being dumped outside your gates, have you seen animals abandoned inside a bag,
A lot.
like kittens and
Yes.
dogs and puppies?
Cats, kittens, and puppies. Yes, a lot. We just took in 11 puppies this week because of that.
11 puppies. Were
Yes.
they inside the bag?
Inside a sack and inside a box. Yeah.
Oh.
And two kittens, the two kittens that we have.
How could a person do that? I mean, do you ever wonder, as an animal lover?
I always do. I always do because everything that has life has a purpose to live.
Exactly.
So why would you want to stop that?
So, Miss Rina, do you get animals who are abused?
We rescue animals that are abused.
Okay, so
But sadly, nobody admits that they saw or did it, but we do.
here's Johnny, and
Johnny is one big example of a dog that is abused.
Oh,
As you can see, Johnny is really handsome. He looks like a
Yes.
lab. We found Johnny with a rotten eye that is full of maggots.
So this eye right here.
Yes, this eye right here. So
Okay.
I found him on my way to the shelter one morning. While Doc Pear was trying to get his eye, we found a bullet inside.
Bullet, like the plastic bullet from an air gun?
Not really plastic, but the metal one that you use, that people use to shoot birds.
Ah, so he was purposely targeted.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So there was a bullet inside, and
And
while
it was
he
here.
was unconscious, we were touching his chest, and
Okay.
we felt like stone-like figures inside. So Doc Pear opened them up, and there were bullets also.
Here, all over
Yes.
his chest.
Yes.
Oh my God. He was left to die at the side of the road, and you saw him
Slow death.
slow death. Okay, wait lang. Wait. Oh my God, I can't really fathom the fact that there are people who would just leave a
Yes.
poor soul to die slowly
I know.
and painfully.
Rotting eyes, very smelly, full of fleas and ticks.
But now look at him. Isn't
He's
he?
fat.
He's a fat fella. Is he up for? Is he?
Up for adoption? Yes, he is. Johnny is up for adoption. All you need to do is just show that you care.
Okay. So before we end this, Miss Rina, what is the main thing that you want our viewers out there to understand being a responsible pet owner?
Filipinos, sadly, we are not that educated about respecting other lives, not just human lives, like the lives of the animals, the trees, the environment. We're not that educated,
Yeah.
sadly.
It explains about the trash as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Responsible pet ownership doesn't mean if you can feed and give shelter to a dog, it's enough. No, it's not just that. You have to make sure that you are capable to give the dogs
Their
treatment. Their needs. Treatment when they're sick, when they need exercise. You need to have that. Because dogs are humans, and humans are really alike.
Yeah.
They need exercise, they need food, they need affection. They need everything that we need. They just can't talk.
Exactly. Miss Rina, we brought something for the sanctuary, and I hope the dogs will be happy. There are some
Thank
treats.
you so much. They would really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We need all the help we can get.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
We are welcome. So let's go get them, buddy. Let's go get them. Let's go get them. Are you excited? It's uplifting to help out at the animal sanctuary and feel better about yourself for caring. But now we get to the part of the video that's gonna disturb you. I went out in Dumaguete for an afternoon to look on the street and show you what you'll see all across the Philippines, not just here in my hometown. The following scenes may disgust you, but there's something we all need to see and need to be aware of. Hiding in plain sight, with people walking past and pretending there's nothing wrong, are millions of animals suffering in pain and agony, while everyone goes about their daily lives without a care. Animals with severe conditions, some of whom are no more than a few weeks away from death, living out their remaining time in a hellish nightmare, where no one can hear them scream. And perhaps the worst thing of all is that many of these aren't even stray animals. They have owners, people for whom I have no respect. This is one of the things I'm most ashamed of about my culture, but I'm not willing to just sweep it under the rug and pretend I don't see it. My heart breaks and my soul weeps for these poor creatures because I simply can't ignore their plight. If I had 100 lifetimes, I still couldn't help them all, so I do what I can. I was going to feed this dog too, lying by the side of the road, until I realized he was dead. Cars will pass by. people will walk within inches of his body, yet he will lay there, forgotten and ignored, like a piece of trash on the street. Heartbreaking, I know. And it should also make you angry that people can treat an animal that way. We should ask ourselves what it means to be human, because surely that has to include compassion for other living things. If we can't understand that, then we might be human, but we're definitely not humane. And before someone asks me about my position on eating animals for food, let me say that I sometimes struggle with eating meat, unless I know that the methods used to produce it were ethical and painless. Most people don't care as long as they don't have to see it or think about it. But the reason I accept it, for now, is because it's part of the food chain. But maybe my views will evolve. My biggest concern is needless suffering and pain, and we've got way too much of that already. And to those of you who find yourselves getting angry at me over this video, ask yourselves why. Is it because I'm not telling the truth? You know this is the truth. You're mad because I dare point out a situation that causes us shame. Well, too bad. As I always say, you can't fix a problem you don't acknowledge. And this is a problem that needs fixing. And to those that are bound to say, it's not just the Philippines. Why are you picking on the Philippines? My answer is that I live in the Philippines, and I'm fully aware of other countries with similar attitudes towards animals. And if I could affect things there, I would. But if this video gets just one person to spay or neuter their pet, so that it doesn't have to suffer through watching its babies get taken away and drowned or left to die on the asphalt, then I consider it worth the effort. Because in the country where people pride themselves on being warm and friendly, something's wrong with this picture. Shame on us. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. And let me take this time to remind you that my channel is not a charity. So for those of you who feel motivated to help with this situation through financial means, I'll post the contact info of the Dumaguete Animal Sanctuary. I'll see you in just 3 more days with a happier subject. I promise. Till next time, folks.